The tragedies that have befallen us in recent years resemble supernatural occurrences recounted in the biblical chapters. Uncontrollable wildfires, pest infestations, droughts, floods, storms, earthquakes, extreme weather, blackouts, political unrest, and crumbling societies are just a few of the problems we face today. People began prepared for potential calamities, lockdowns, shortages, and mishaps as the entire world has turned upside down. Many people were concerned that they would suddenly find themselves stranded at home for an unknown amount of time without adequate food to get by after stay-at-home orders were issued overnight. When they were finally given permission to leave the house and go shopping once more, they began to stock up on additional supplies so they would be prepared for anything. People who chose to set up their life for any future disaster are now known as preppers, and this group is much larger than we can imagine. Previously, these people were known as survivalists who intended to live off the grid. Hello, and welcome to 360 Economists. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. The majority of Americans have never experienced such severe shortages and price increases in their whole lives because they believe that the things would always be available at the stores. Many people don't buy in bulk, but as supply chain issues persist and food inflation spirals out of hand, prepping is suddenly becoming more and more popular. At the height of the epidemic in 2020, when people began to panic purchase food, empty shop shelves, and fight over toilet paper, the majority of our so-called leaders were nowhere to be seen. Several consumers' experiences were recounted in a recent Wall Street Journal story, which demonstrated that their shopping patterns have shifted. Over the past 2 years, many Americans have increased the size of their pantries, purchased freezers, and begun to stockpile non-perishables. Although the Wall Street Journal and the majority of the media refer to it as hoarding or bulk shopping, that is not what is occurring right now. In these uncertain times, folks are just trying to take care of themselves and their families. Bob Nolan, Senior VP at food giant Conagra Brands, claims that consumers have changed forever as a result of the harsh realities of shortages brought on by health crisis. According to Ann Bounce, PhD, a professor of sociology at Queens College in New York, prepping is becoming much more common than we're being told because people have begun to understand the importance of being prepared in advance for any eventualities, ever since their eyes were opened to the fact that some situations are simply out of their control. Preppers come from diverse backgrounds, races, and age ranges. Recent statistics from research firm IRI, which keeps tabs on consumer spending on home goods, show that many regular Americans are becoming preppers, compared to an average annual growth of 0.5% during the previous 10 years. The company's volume sales of food and drinks increased by 3% in 2020 and 2021. The prepper movement is a social movement made up of people who actively plan for any kind of adversity that can occur, such as natural disasters, social and political unrest, or economic collapse, trying to instill control and safety into their lives through preparation. We have always been prepared for emergencies because it is in our nature to do so. The 1930s through 1950s are when the modern prepper movement first started. Following the onset of the health crisis, young consumers' attitudes toward the government and the economy saw a significant shift in their thinking, beliefs, feelings, and perceptions. People understand the benefits of prepping, does not imply leaving society and residing in the wilderness. Preparing is about protecting yourself from distractions from outside sources. The unrelenting increase in food prices and the highest inflation in 40 years are additional factors driving younger consumers to stockpile. Americans are becoming more and more irate as a result of weekly price rises and escalating prices. More people are storing up on food since the goods they desire might be unavailable or 20% more expensive come spring. As a result of the global food price increase of over 30% over the previous year. As more people lose faith in both the government and corporations, this movement is likewise growing in popularity because the system is not only bound to let us down, but it is actually structured to do so. Consumers are attempting to become more autonomous. Extreme weather, cyber attacks, and ongoing outages will simply not be able to keep our deteriorating infrastructures unaffected. In addition, an unstable economy, a perpetual sanitary epidemic, and escalating geopolitical conflicts are present. Many Americans feel unprepared for the world of today, and their worry about the instability of the system motivates them to become preparedness enthusiasts. Gary Lynch, general manager of Rising S Company, claims that the public is outraged and feels uneasy as a result of the most recent government actions. Where is the next meal going to come from for those folks who are parents and depend on the government? By all means required, which entails that if you have to steal, you'll start by eluding. Since most people will become desperate at this point, it might be wealthy individuals when the grocery shops are empty. Nobody will go to work since they will be at home looking after their loved ones. Those in positions of authority are undoubtedly terrified that we won't submit to their laws if we are independent, self-sufficient, and prepared. They do this by attacking the entire movement and portraying preppers as irrational hoarders. But being prepared is far more complicated than that, and people are only now becoming aware of their ability to reclaim their power. Because of this, you should stop wasting time and begin preparing as soon as you can.